People are always like, I'm going to wait to get a house until the housing market crashes. Well, 2025 housing crash, is it coming? What the data is really saying. Let's actually dig into it and let's see what's going on.
Is a 2025 housing crash actually coming, or are we just falling for the hype? With prices rising and mortgage rates squeezing buyers, many are wondering if we're heading for a collapse like in 2008.
But what does the data really say?
What a fucking, is this guy AI? Dude, it's a low reviewed video. I got recommended, but I wanted to dive into the data. The thing is, I mean, housing full crashes nationwide is incredibly rare in this country's history. You get local markets that go up and down. Joe Jonas teaching us about the housing market. Yeah, sorry for the audio, guys. I don't know what fucking happened. But I wouldn't bet on the entire United States housing market crashing, especially that close to like the 2008. Just historically, but maybe.
Stay tuned as we dig into the numbers and uncover the truth.
Let's do
Like,
it.
share, and subscribe. Demand gap remains a key factor. Despite all the talk about a potential crash, one thing is clear in 2025, the housing supply still isn't meeting demand.
In the areas where it's demanded. Yeah, I mean, people will always bring up, there's like this many million empty units in this country. Okay, fucking, yeah, you're going to go live in the middle of a grass field in Kansas with no job. I mean, listen, it's the area where there is demand, right? That's what we need to focus on.
According to recent data from the National Association of Realtors, the U.S. is short by more than 4 million homes. Construction has picked up slightly, but not fast enough to keep pace with population growth.
And now construction is slowed down, if I'm not mistaken.
Millennials,
Tariffs and everything, right?
many now in peak buying years, are flooding the market with serious intent. Builders
Yeah, 50% of millennials own a home, 25% of Gen Z. So those generations are starting to ramp up.
face challenges from high material costs and labor shortages.
Yes.
Meanwhile, existing homeowners are reluctant to sell due to low locked-in mortgage rates.
It's such a curse. It's such a curse. Because if you're just thinking the average middle-class American, why the fuck would they get rid of their 2.5% rate and go get a 7% rate today on a house that would likely be more expensive anyway? Like, no shit. What the fuck is wrong with Kansas? Nothing. But if, like, again, I'm talking like the empty units, right? If we're talking about the millions of empty units, a lot of them are just in places without jobs. And you can get Kansas City, Missouri, or fucking Wichita, Kansas. I don't know. There's probably opportunities there. But I'm just saying in the literal middle of nowhere, it's like, good luck. Good luck getting a remote work today.
This imbalance is driving prices higher, not lower.
Yeah.
Until supply significantly exceeds demand, a dramatic market-wide collapse remains highly unlikely based on the current fundamentals. Higher mortgage rates are slowing growth, not triggering a collapse.
Yes, for sure.
In 2025, mortgage rates hover between 6.5% and 7%, much higher than the pandemic's sub-3% rates.
Good times. Good times. It might get a quarter basis point cut by the end of the year, but good times.
This increase has certainly cooled demand, but it hasn't caused the market to collapse.
Yeah.
Higher borrowing costs are slowing investor overreach and deterring some first-time buyers in expensive cities, but they also prevent runaway bidding wars. Home purchase applications have dipped slightly, but there's no evidence of a dramatic pullback. Refinancing has dropped sharply, yet overall housing activity remains relatively stable. These rates are functioning like a market stabilizer, encouraging a healthier pace of transactions. Instead of triggering a cliff fall, the current mortgage landscape appears to be pushing the market into a more sustainable and measured direction.
Sustainable. Would you guys consider this sustainable? Are we in a sustainable position? It's hard to get 20% down on houses that just continually going up forever.
Just as the Federal Reserve...
Okay, but all this is just encouragement to get your finances early in life instead of playing catch up. It's always the best option. Yeah, that's for sure.
...hoped. Homeowners hold strong equity positions. Unlike the conditions leading up to 2008, homeowners in 2025 are sitting on significant equity.
That, and you have to remember the kind of loans, those balloon loans, those crazy arms, those loans that were wild that all the banks held back in 2008. It's a different landscape right now.
According to CoreLogic, the average mortgage holder has gained over $270,000 in home equity since 2010.
Average home owner.
Even after minor corrections in 2023 and 2024, most homeowners remain far above water. Fixed-rate mortgages dominate, and roughly 40% of homes are owned free.
We are seeing missed payment. The average month of missed payments going up, though, for what it's worth.
And clear. This financial buffer discourages panic selling and makes large-scale foreclosures far less likely. When people have equity, they're less likely to walk away or dump properties quickly. That's a
That's interesting because you'd think that's when you actually feel comfortable doing it, but I'd understand the rates a bit more specifically.
massive difference compared to the last housing crash, where negative equity was rampant. This time, homeowners are in a much stronger position, reducing the chance of a market freefall. Delinquency and foreclosure numbers stay low. If a crash
Stay low but are rising.
were around the corner, we'd expect to see defaults and foreclosures rise, but in 2025, that's not happening. National delinquency rates are near 3%, historically low, thanks to tighter lending rules and better financial education.
Yeah, changed from the
Most
Great
borrowers
Recession.
today are well qualified. Foreclosure rates have remained stable, and there's no indication of a major spike. Homeowners are still paying their mortgages even after pandemic-era forbearance.
We'll see what happens though. If we start getting negative job growth, very curious to see what happens with these mortgages people are locked into.
Let me guess. You're just using an investing app that doesn't invest in you. It is time to change that. Right now, Webull is offering up to a 3.5% match when you open an IRA with them. That is real money going into your retirement, not just points or coupons. And that's just the start. Deposit $100 and you get 30 days of Webull Premium. Anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 sitting around in your account, move it to Webull and get $200 in cash. And if you worked your way up to $5 million, that's $30,000 in your account just for moving it over. It is not just about the perks though. Webull provides the tools that serious investors want as well. TradingView integration, real-time data, zero commission trades. It actually works on all your devices. And now through September 30th, you can stack even more. Get a $100 cash bonus for a $2,000 deposit, plus a 2% cash back on all deposits, and a 30-day premium voucher, and a 4% APY booster on any uninvested cash. It doesn't get better than this, so stop overpaying for a platform that gives you nothing back and make the switch to Webull. Go to Webull.com/K/Caleb or hit the QR code or the link below. Let's get back to the show.
Programs ended. Employment levels remain strong in most regions, supporting borrowers' ability to stay current. Without a wave of foreclosures or distressed properties flooding the market, we're unlikely to see a broad housing collapse.
Yeah, probably not.
Affordability is painful, but not a crash trigger. There's no denying it. Affordability is a serious issue.
Yeah, remember right now we're getting about 35% of income on the median basis goes to mortgage payments. It was 25% at the beginning of the 1970s or 1980s. The difference is interest rates, but now the hard part, because the baseline home prices are so much higher than it was back then, coming up with a decent down payment is substantially harder. So that entry level is more difficult. Less the monthly payment specifically.
2025. Median home prices have surpassed $420,000, and mortgage payments often
crazy.
consume more than a third of household
So what? You got to bring like $82,000 down. You got to just bring, I mean, that's a shit ton of money for the average American to just save up, plus an emergency fund on top of that.
income. But while this limits who can buy, it doesn't automatically trigger a crash. Sellers are adjusting their expectations, offering incentives or waiting longer rather than dropping prices dramatically.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, remote work continues to fuel migration to cheaper
I guess, but remote work is on the way out pretty heavily as well. I don't know. Don't forget home insurance in places like Florida. True.
cities, distributing demand more evenly across the country. Yes, affordability slows the market's pace, but that's different from a collapse. Unless unemployment spikes,
You know what? Collapse, supply increase, and we've had increased supply in Florida and Texas, and that's where you're seeing home prices go down. It's market dependent. Down payment equals 20% of the home price. Potentially, if you want to do 20%, you could do FHA. Wouldn't recommend it, especially in volatile markets, because you might be underwater real quick on a home, but I'd at least do minimum 10%, you know?
or inventory balloons unexpectedly, the current strain on buyers is more likely to result in stagnation, not a housing market meltdown, like some fear. Investor pullback is rebalancing the market. During the pandemic, investors, especially institutional ones, poured into the housing market, accounting for nearly 20% of purchases by 2022. Now, in
Yeah, but
2020
that's pulled back dramatically for what it's worth. Remember, and even still, those institutional investors own about, it's like 1% or less of all single family homes in the United States.
that share has dropped.
Yeah,
as higher
10%
interest
is
rates and
good
tighter
for down
regulations
payment.
cool investor appetite. According to Redfin, investor purchases have declined more than 40%.
Caleb, when's the Fed going to drop rates? People are thinking about a quarter basis point by a year's end. We'll see. Aggressive suggests half, but we'll see.
Still, they remain active, especially in rental markets and build-to-rent communities. Many are now long-term holders instead of short-term flippers, which reduces volatility. Investors are watching closely, but aren't dumping properties en masse. This controlled reduction in investor activity helps normalize the market rather than destabilize it. Unless a massive liquidation occurs, something not currently reflected in the data, investor shifts are unlikely to be the trigger for a market-wide crash.
Yeah, probably. I don't see
Different
a
regions
market-wide
show different
crash
stories.
happening.
Housing markets in 2025 are highly
Texas and Florida, this is where we've seen the decline.
regional. Cities like San Francisco, Boise, and Austin saw major
Yeah.
gains in recent years and are now seeing 10 to 15% declines.
Boom and bust. Boom and bust. I'm still bullish.
But many places in the Midwest and Southeast remain stable or are even appreciating.
Yeah, he does sound AI. I think it is AI, but I mean, we're still going over data, so it's interesting.
Zillow data shows 60% of metro areas still recording price gains, albeit
Yes.
slower than in 2021 or 2022.
Well, that was unnatural. That was just a, I feel like that was once in a lifetime. We'll see, but that was unnatural.
Each city's performance depends on local factors, like job availability, migration patterns, and affordability. National averages can be misleading. These localized corrections help reduce overheating, but aren't evidence of a widespread crash. It's a patchwork, not a panic. Wages are rising, but not fast enough. Although wages have been increasing, especially in fields like healthcare, tech, and skilled trades, they haven't matched the speed of housing price growth. Since
Housing price growth specifically, yes. Overall, it's almost caught up to inflation growth, but that depends if you agree on the metrics of wage growth and inflation, obviously.
2020, home prices have jumped over 35%, while wage growth is closer to 20%. This mismatch is deepening the affordability crisis and pushing many potential buyers into the
Certainly.
rental market. Builders are responding with more affordable housing options, including townhomes and multifamily units. Still, the wage gap restrains price growth, but it doesn't inherently lead to a crash. If job numbers stay strong and buyers can adjust their expectations or relocate to more affordable areas, the market can keep functioning. Wage stagnation limits growth, but it doesn't spell doom unless paired with job losses or economic shocks.
But job loss, we are on that trend, that trend for job gain. So we'll see what goes. Even though I paid my student loan and still $100,000 in debt from purchasing my home about 2 years ago. But yeah, but that's relatively good debt typically, unless your debt's fucked and your property's fucked. We'll see.
Buyer sentiment and market psychology play a role. Fear of another
Blackstone
housing
Maxi.
crash often comes more from emotion than actual data. Memories of 2008 still linger, and many
Yeah.
people are quick to assume the worst. But behavioral experts say this is a classic case of recency bias.
Yes.
When buyers expect prices
That's true. That's fair. That's a fair point.
to fall, they hold off on purchasing, which can temporarily slow activity. Social media also amplifies panic by sharing worst-case stories. But if you look at the real numbers, inventory, foreclosure rates, employment, there's no major red flag. Emotion
For an absolute collapse, no. Stagnation, maybe.
plays a role in short-term decision-making,
Local
but
markets,
long-term trends
potentially.
still rely on fundamentals, and those fundamentals remain relatively strong. So, will 2025 bring a housing crash?
I don't think so.
The evidence says no. While some markets are cooling off, most data points to a slowdown, not a meltdown.
All right, let's see this AI
Strong
guy.
8.
But what does the data really say?
Stay tuned as we dig into the numbers and uncover the truth.
Oh my goodness, that's bad AI. Fucking, if you're gonna start a channel based on AI, my guy, Mr. Fenetichigum, that's rough. That's rough, dude. That's rough.
Hey, Caleb Hammer stream fans, make sure you get your financial score for free. Take the assessment at calebhammer.com or dollarwise.com. It's free. See where you stand in the world of finances.